Today we are going to discuss with a specific area with regard to UPSC prelims and mains examination as well as for KS mains examination, and that is nothing other than how to prepare a current affair question for both UPSC prelims and mains, since the prelims examination is in the offing, as well as for KS mains. And what is the role of current affairs in all these examinations? In a previous session, maybe in the session that I dealt, which is already posted in the video, that I dealt with how to prepare for prelims. And of course, in another video, that is prelims pattern 2020 predicted, I spoke to you about the importance of current affairs in UPSC examination. Current affairs has become an all the more important area that you just cannot ignore current affairs. Perhaps the importance of current affairs has been increasing over a period of time, and now it is occupying almost, if you take UPSC prelims for example, it occupied in 2019 example I am stating 20 to 25 questions which may determine out of 100 which may determine whether a candidate shall clear the examination. If you go for a closer analysis of the KS prelims that was held recently in February, in KS2 maybe 15 to 20 questions, or maybe if you connect those conventional areas also to current issues, 20 to 23 questions in both papers had come from the current affair region. So now it is definitely clear for all of you what is the relevance of a current affair question from a UPSC as well as a Kerala PSC, or from a civil service as well as a Kerala administrative point of view. And you cannot ignore current affairs since it is occupying a crucial 25 into 2 marks, that is almost 50 marks out of a 200 marks paper if you go for a 25 to 75 proportion. Naturally, many candidates are puzzled how to deal with current affairs, especially they don't know how to read current affair and how to strategize or chisel shape current affair preparation from a UPSC or KS point of view. First of all, I am trying to explode a myth related to current affair is that current affair does not stand alone. Rather, all current affair questions except sports, it stands in relation with a conventional area, or rather it has a conventional connection, and that connection has to be understood by the candidate at first. And again, before going into how to prepare for current affair, I need to explode a myth that many candidates used to say that all current affair areas should be studied. That is wrong. You are not supposed to study every current affair area. Say for example, you can ignore sports like anything. There can be, over the past many years, UPSC never asked even one prelims question over sports. And except maybe one mains question out of the past 4 or 5 years, or 2 mains question, sports area has been completely neglected by UPSC, and except so-called awards or honors or something. And you can also do the same, that you can simply leave out sports area, which is definitely an irrelevant area. Number 2, again, daily politicking or daily political affairs is also not important. Please listen, it is not about governmental affair, it is not about constitutional affair, but it is mere political affairs are also not important from a UPSC point of view, and you can simply ignore that area also. So politics, mere politicking is ignored, and of course sports is also ignored. And now how to read current affairs. First of all, I should tell you the source of reading current affair, and then I shall help you out how to read current affair questions from a UPSC or KS point of view. For current affairs, the most prominent source are the newspapers, and definitely I have to prescribe a newspaper, and that is definitely many of you know that is the Hindu. The Hindu newspaper can be considered as a prominent source for current affair questions, and many times UPSC directly picks question from this newspaper, especially from certain pages of this newspaper. That page part will be dealt later. So whenever you read current affair, you need to build a current affair base from the Hindu newspaper itself, and second only to Hindu newspaper, you can identify yearbooks. Of course, Manorama yearbook is a good source. Even Madhubhumi yearbook is a good source. Then the Government of India's publication division comes out with the India yearbook, which is definitely an excellent source. And other than all these recent publications like the Economic Survey, then again Yojana, Kurukshetra, the issues that are discussed there, especially for KS as well as civil service mains, are also important. So once your material is ready, once you have the Hindu with you, once you have these things, maybe soft copy or hard copy. Hindu preferably you can read hard copy. If it is not available, especially these corona days, of course, many of you are avoiding newspapers. You can definitely read soft copy. Then again, IYB, that is India yearbook, you can get a hard copy or a soft copy. Manorama yearbook or Madhubhumi yearbook, and plus, of course, Yojana and Kurukshetra, which are published by the government of India and who itself is a direct taker or a direct stakeholder in all these. So once the reference materials are ready, now we can directly deal with how to read a current affair question. Imagine you have a Hindu newspaper with you, and now I'm just putting an imaginary situation before you. You're starting reading that newspaper. You don't know very well that which question is important, which question is less important. Actually, when you start reading with that newspaper, you have to prioritize certain areas from where the largest number of UPSC questions are asked. Say for example, if a Hindu newspaper is before you, you need to identify where science and technology areas are asked, because largest number of current affair questions comes from this area. So that's the first thing, science and technology, S&T area. Number two is a defense technology related area, which is connected with science and technology. Defense technology updations, purchases, etc., which is the second most important area. Once the defense technology area is over, again connected with the science and technology area, that is the health industry area, the health, medicine, pharmaceuticals, and again something that is connected with diseases. Again, every year UPSC has a pattern of asking questions from the disease part, maybe the virus, the pathogen, the bacteria, or whatever, and again maybe the antibiotic that is prescribed for the same, etc. also can be asked. So health, wellness, disease, medicine, etc. is the third important area. So science and technology, defense technology, health or medical area, again that is important. Then other than these, moving on to the ecology area, Hindu itself dedicates an ecology page, and you need to read that ecology page very closely, because you can expect a number of questions from that area. And I have seen UPSC question papers, especially prelims question paper, where even the wordings used by Hindu newspaper is as such repeated. Whatever you read in the newspaper itself comes as a question with a tagline, as I stated in the last video session, how to prepare for prelims, recently in news. That would be the tagline probably. So this is the way in which UPSC questions are being asked, and that is definitely the next important area, that is environment area. Then second only, or we can say next only to environment, comes the constitution or the governance area. I stated in the beginning itself, you need to avoid politics and you need to read parliamentary or political discussion. I will give you an example. Say for example, two political parties are engaged in a dispute with each other, and there are news related to that dispute. We are not anyway concerned with that dispute. Let there be any dispute between any political party, it does not have any concern for us. But we are definitely concerned with one part, whether a constitutional question, I repeat, whether a constitutional question is involved in that dispute. Then of course it is important. Imagine recently in Madhya Pradesh, before that in Karnataka, there was governmental instability, okay, and that governmental instability was surrounding a question that whether the MLA ship of a person is valid or not, or whether the resignation of a particular MLA or the shifting of position of a particular MLA from ruling to treasury benches shall be equated with defection. This is the question. Naturally, defection comes into the picture, and anti-defection law that is brought by Rajiv Gandhi government also comes into the picture. Okay, so mere politicking is not important, but if a political question has a constitutional connection, then it is very important, both from the civil service point of view as well as for the KS point of view. If you're reading a political issue, say for example, if that political issue has a constitutional background, I'll give you another simple example. If you come to Kerala specifically, since KS examination is also involved, there has been an issue between two splinter organizations of Kerala Congress, led by one leader and led by another leader, and both of them claim that they are the original stakeholders or the original heirs of Kerala Congress, and both of them say that their specific organ is the original Kerala Congress. Naturally, there is a dispute. Naturally, there is a crisis that is involved, and that is a constitutional crisis. You need to actually solve that constitutional crisis precisely, because you need to actually be aware of the constitutional crisis precisely, because both of them claim that they are the original parent organization. Now you should read the Representation of People Act and what is a political party and how which of them stakes a genuine claim. All these can be read by a candidate. But we are not interested in the dispute. We are only interested in the constitutional or the statutory background of the dispute. I hope it is very much clear for you people. Again, so that is the political side. That is how you should read the political side instead of reading mere politicking. Again, you need to read Supreme Court judgments, which is reported in newspapers. Judgment again is not important for us, but the factor or the aspect on which that judgment is delivered is very important. As I stated regarding disqualification of MLAs, maybe regarding a government decision taken on a particular regarding what issue that judgment is delivered is definitely important for a candidate, and you can expect question related to that issue or the background of that issue and certainly not related to the judgment. I hope it is very much clear for you people. Not about the judgment, but about the issue on which, about the specific criteria or aspect on which the judgment is delivered is definitely very important. Once Supreme Court judgments are also over, you need to read any news item that is related to Indian Constitution or constitution affairs that are discussed. Then once all these areas are completed, majority of the areas are covered, now you can read something that is related to geography. As I stated before, if geography related or we can say terrain related or geomorphological news items are coming up in newspapers, especially in the Hindu, that is also definitely important. Then again, miscellaneous includes a lot of things. As I stated in the previous video, even a fruit, a banana type of fruit that was recently in news in Andaman and Nicobar Islands came as a question in 2016. Naturally, similar questions can come at any point of time, and such questions are relevant. That belongs to the miscellaneous category. What is new and to which category it belongs to? Maybe to biotechnology, maybe to fruit related matter, maybe to constitution or anything, but that area is also important. And moving on, we'll be discussing current affairs later, but of course, I'm just discussing a strategy. Moving on, when you should read current affairs and from when to when. This is a very, very important question. Many candidates are puzzled. Many of them ask me a question. So up to when we should read current affairs if you're giving your prelims on May 31st. Imagine you're going to give your prelims on May 31st and it is not postponed. Naturally, you should definitely read current affairs up to April for sure. You should read current affairs at least till March 31st and there is no exemption on that. If you are going to give a civil service mains, the mains examination is definitely supposed to be held in November or in December. You are supposed to read, take it December, you are supposed to read the entire gamut of current affairs, the monthly review of current affairs at least till November. Then only you are equipped. Otherwise, and from which point of time? This is also a question. You need to know the entire gamut of incidents that happened for the past 1 year. Say for example, if your prelims examination is held on May 31st, or your KS examination is held on, say for example, held in July, mains examination. Naturally, if it is May 31st, you need to know all incidents that happened from May or at least from June 2019 to May 2020. Sorry, to March 2020. This is very important. All incidents, I repeat, that happened from June 2019 to March 2020 should be properly covered by a candidate, and that should be area-wise identified by a candidate and recorded by a candidate on a continuous basis. This is very important, and once you do this process on a regular and meticulous manner, you yourself have a resource. You know very well that many academies used to give current affair notes to their students. What they do is that they just make a monthly review of the major incidents that happened and then they publish there or they hand over to their students their current affair material. Nothing wrong in that. But if you do it on your own, you can get a better grasp on areas. You can ensure a broader coverage of areas and at least 1 year. Say for example, a period of 10 months minimum should be covered by a candidate when he say that he studied current affair. That means from the last June to this March should be covered by a prelims preparing candidate for UPSC. If it is a KS mains candidate also, 1 year current affair, especially Kerala related affair also should be studied by a candidate in a close manner, especially constitutional developments that happen in Kerala. We'll continue in the next session probably, and we may be dealing with the current affair preparation in a detailed manner. Thank you.